is all about doing detailed due diligence on a property, on the property itself. It's okay to assume that you have an ugly house, and if you renovate it or make improvements to that property, that is going to be a winner, but that is so not the case. And you can land in a whole lot of trouble if that's your attitude and you don't do what I call proper due diligence on the property itself. So let's take a bit of a look and see what that means. So how do you examine the property? Say if this is the one you're looking at to buy. This is already gorgeous. So it's not something you'll be pulling apart to have a look at for renovation potential, but how do you look at properties to work out whether they're the ones or not? How do you even start? So start by looking from the front to back. So most people get there for an open for inspection. They get all excited and they walk straight into the property and they're straight inside, and the real estates are standing at the front door ushering people in, and you know, you're doing a little sign in and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to stop at the front and take a really good look at that property, because what you've got to do with that property is imagine if you made changes to that property, how would that draw your buyer in when you've done your renovation, right? So you're really taking a good look at that property. Is it handsome? If it's unrenovated at the point you're looking at it, does it have potential? Is it a nice shape? Is the roof falling apart? Is it a bit of a mess? What about the front gardens? Could they be improved? Is there a driveway? Is the driveway bitumen, cement, pebblecrete? Like, is the driveway something that you're going to need to pay attention to? So have a look from the front to the back and stand at the street before you walk into the property and really examine that house. And then you're looking from top to bottom. So you look from top to bottom from the outside, and when you go into that property, you are going from top to bottom inside that property as well, top to bottom. So every room, walk through the foyer, have a look. What are the ceilings like? What are the cornices like? What's the gyprock like? What is the flooring like? What is the furniture like? Is the furniture making the rooms feel cluttered, or are the rooms small? Does the flow of the layout make sense? So examine the property front to back and top to bottom and start writing notes. Now, if you're one of my students, you'll have a perfect checklist that you can just tick off all of the things so you don't miss one thing, right? Because if you miss something and it's big, when you've bought a property, it's going to cost you big money to fix. So don't miss anything. You can't afford to miss anything. So, you know, just take a great big look at the property, take your time. When you see something as beautiful as this, and you know that inside it's going to be styled just as well, don't allow the styling to overwhelm your judgment. You know, styling is designed to do that. We design styling to do that. We want people to fall in love with our property. So if you're going in there and you want to find something with potential, don't allow any styling to take your eye off things that may be right about that property or things that might be wrong about that property. I've broken it down into 5 Ps for you. What are the 5 Ps, the things that you need to tick off when you're doing your property due diligence? Assuming you've already looked at the location, right? The street, the location, that was in the videos beforehand. And if you haven't had a look, go and have a look at those. But the first is position. What is the position of the house on the block? What is the position of the property to the street? What is the position of that property to shops, main roads, facilities, anything that's going to affect it in a positive manner or a negative manner? What is the potential of the property itself? Like, can you do anything with it? That picture I just showed you before, that place is gorgeous. So you're probably not going to be able to uplift that in any way, shape or form, in any way that's at least profitable, right? So what is the potential of the property? You're looking for something with the potential to uplift. What price is the property sitting at? Is it expensive? Is it cheap? Do the owners expect a lot? Have you come across this property off market? Are you feeling no pressure when you're dealing and negotiating on that property? Or are you one of many, many buyers, and so you're feeling the heat of the market, you know, which is pushing the price up? So check out what price it is. It may or may not be worth it for you. The 4th one is the plan. What's the layout like inside? And the 5th one are problems that property has. So we'll take a deep dive here. When you're looking at the position, there's a few things you need to actually examine, and this is just a screenshot of realestate.com, but you can see here they've actually listed some of the things that are important. So driveway parking, driveways and access, the entry patio, in other words, where you walk in and out of the property from. This is a corner block, so you're coming in and out of the property there where number 2 is, and your driveway is there, number 1, and you're parking. Right, so that's nice access to the front door. You really are just taking a deep dive into what this property is like from top to bottom, from inside, from out. But the first thing you do is look at the position that that property is on the block. Is there a fenced yard? If people have pets, they're going to expect a fenced yard. Is there a courtyard or somewhere to sit in the sun? Covered patio and courtyards. Is there a shed? What's the storage like? What's the storage like for all of the outdoor equipment? If you've got a pool equipment, where's the pool filter? Is it going to be noisy for the neighbours? Is it easily accessible? Is it in good condition? Like, you really are taking a deep dive. Don't walk into the properties, particularly now when it's very easy to feel rushed by a real estate agent wanting you to make quick decisions. Then you need to really focus on what you're trying to drag out, all the information you're trying to drag out from this property. What is the story this property is telling you? Does it have potential? Is there potential for uplift? Is there profit in it? What is the lifestyle of the people who are already living in that property? What is the lifestyle going to be if you renovate that property of the people who are about to go and live in there too? And when it comes to the position, when we're talking about lifestyle, we're talking about, can the kids play in a backyard? Is the backyard visible from, say, the kitchen and the living area? We're looking at the sun. Does the place get any sun? A lot of people are happy to buy a place that is not sunny, but when they live in it for a few years, I tell you what, they exit pretty fast. Because the truth is, unless you have sun in at least some of the rooms in a property, or you've got somewhere to sit outside in the sun, it's just, it just makes you feel awful. So, you know, people stay for a while and then they leave. The second one is potential. Let's take a look. This is actually the same house. It's just a grab from realestate.com. The property's actually been sold, but this is kind of typical for a cosmetic renovation. I see potential in this property all over the place. Potential to uplift the look. And then I would obviously only be looking in this area if I already knew that there was potential in this area to take a property like this and cosmetically create something gorgeous and sell it for profit, right? So we've already ticked that section off in our due diligence. Now we're inside. What can we do to make changes to a property like this to up the value? And I like this property because it's, hope I don't offend anyone, it ain't that pretty right now. There's a few things that can be uplifted into 2021, 2022, 2023 style. The first thing I'd look at here would be the flooring. Then I'd be looking at the bathrooms and the kitchens, and I'd be saying to myself, are they positioned right? Like, is there anything we could do? Would we prefer to create an island bench out of something like that? How much is it going to cost us to make those changes? So you're looking for potential. Sometimes people make a mistake buying a property to renovate that's already a little bit done. Like, it's a little bit nice. It's a little bit too nice. There might be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things to change it, but it's a little bit nice. Once you get into the it's a little bit nice, you'll find that there's less margin for profit. There's just less. You'll be paying a higher amount in the first place. You won't be able to make a significant difference. It won't excite your new buyers enough for them to pay what you ask, and there's no profit in it, right? So you're looking for potential. You need potential. You're also thinking about, you know, how you can change the use of inside that house to make like more facilities available. Like, can you sneak in a study? Can you convert 3 bedrooms to 4? These are amazing tips, guys. Write them down. Price. What is the purchase price? It matters. If you're paying too much for a property, it's just going to rip into your little proportion of the profit. So are you paying too much? Is it too highly priced? Or is it okay? So what is the purchase price? It really matters. Then you're looking at the price to fix the thing up. What's your renovation spend going to be? And again, you're having a look at the sales price. Like, that piece in the middle of all of this is your profit. That's what's left over. You buy something, you add value to it for as little as you can. You're increasing that profit margin. You're styling it like a champion, and you're selling it for more profit. That's the game, guys. All right, plan matters. I actually covered beforehand when you're doing your due diligence how important it is to look at layout. And the reason is it's really hard to change bad layouts on a property. And just because, you know, like you think about a property having the perfect layout, which is living at the back so everyone can look at the backyard and watch the kids play, kitchen, dining, living area at the back, and bedroom somewhere else, and just nice access in and out the property, and attractive front door, front entry, nice car parking access without getting wet. All those kinds of things really matter and add value to a property. Sometimes you've got to look at what you have and go, okay, this is not what I would do to a property. I would not have built, truth is, I would not have built the plan like this on this property, but can I make it make sense? Does it make sense? Is it nice to be in? So important to get on the ground, guys, and see what things feel like. It's real easy to make a judgment and go, don't quite like where all these rooms are. But when you're in it, it might make more sense than it feels like it makes. For example, the big thing here is this place is on a corner block. So it's kind of weird to have the door there, but when you know you're on a corner block, then it makes sense. You're coming in via this street, there's your garage, then you're walking straight into here, there's a living family dining, and there's a covered patio, and there's some yard out here. So that's where all the living is directed through the middle and the double garage, and then your bedrooms are in this wing. So it might make sense when you're on the ground. I would much prefer, this is just my opinion, is to have the garage and the entry kind of here, and then just have all of this section here, living, kitchen, dining room. Like that's how I would do it. But, you know, horses for courses. And just because you would do something different if you were to build the property doesn't mean you start to get into a place like here and rip all the walls out. You just make the plan make sense. You just make sure when you're walking through it, it flows for you and it's going to flow for the next buyer. All right, problems. I love properties with problems because you can buy them at a discount. That's the truth. There was a real estate agent called me around to a house. He said, Belinda, here's one for you. No one else will come in. The place stinks. So I walked in with a real estate agent. Oh my God, the smell of cat's wee was so full on. Like both of our eyes were watering with this, I think it's uric acid you call it, just from this cat pee. It was overwhelming. You could smell it from out the front. I walked through the property and I had a look and I thought, that's a cracker. You can get rid of smells like that, you know, like you can clean the floor. If it doesn't come off the floor, then you can lift up the floor and replace it. So where there's a will, there's a way. But if you've got a problem like that, does it fit? Is the repair costs, or are the repair costs going to blow out your budget? Are they going to expand your profit margin? Like, is it worth it? So problems that you can fix are great. You can actually do really well out of a property like that people are turned off in a heartbeat. Some people just can't see past problems like that, and other people are more like solution oriented. But the real estate agent took me there because he knew I'd be up for it. But a lot of people just say, no, they're not. But here's another problem here. This is the actual property that we were just looking at. There's the main road. Is it noisy from here? Like, you don't want to judge from inside the house. They might have all of those windows shut before they're open for inspections. Be aware of what's around you and where you're looking at. That is a problem that you really can't fix. Or can you? Can you do some heavy planting, which dissipates noise? Can you do some matting along your fence? Can you do some double glazing on windows? Like, if you can fix a problem, then it's not a problem. The only problem then becomes the cost to fix the problem. So you just have to factor all of these things in. The same as things like asbestos. A lot of people will walk in, see a lot of the old asbestos, fibro or whatever, and just walk out. So I want you to say to yourself, is this a good deal? Like, can I do something with this? Do I need to rip it all out? I say you don't, guys. I actually say you don't. If it's in good condition, it's been cared for, it's not rough, it's not going to expose anyone to any fibers or danger or whatever, it is okay to make the judgment call to leave it. You might do other things like really, you know, woo up your styling so that people don't focus on it so much, or pull it out where it really matters and leave it in certain places. So, you know, there are problems like asbestos. Another one is termites. Let's go through the main three: asbestos, termites, and structural damage. I reckon they're the main three. Things like smells and stuff, they're crackers. I love those. Love a good stinky house. Love mold if it's something you can get rid of with a few design changes, better ventilation, blah, blah. Love things like horrible furniture, fixtures and fittings like stinky old heavy curtains. Love those. They're gone in 10 minutes in a skip bin. So, you know, are there problems with this property that you can fix, or are they going to matter to the person that you're going to try and upgrade the look of this property and have to sell this property to? Are they going to remain? Termites, yes, you get someone in, get an expert in and have a chat about how far he thinks the damage is, he or she thinks the damage is gone, what they think the repair costs might be, and it's something definitely you would take back to the vendor and say, hey, there's termites here, it's going to cost me a bit to fix, and start negotiating on price. The big one is structural damage. You really do need to work out whether that damage is something you need to fix to underpin the property, to do some repinning, or whether you can just, you know, it's just natural movement of the property. So, you know, when you know what to look for, you'll be able to identify exactly whether these problems are a big deal or an exciting thing. Okay, so in closing, there are 3 ways you can work with me if you choose. You can learn to renovate. You can renovate alongside one of my very experienced reno coaches. If you've always been too afraid to start, connect with me in relation to that if that's something that you'd like to do. Or I can teach you how to create a business around your joy, your love, your passion, and your skills, your renovation skills. So that's it from me. Thanks, guys. Bye.